I am truly honored to have been selected for this prestigious award. Thank you to Jonathan and the nominating committee. Thank you also to Bill Tilford for nominating me, and to Dale Hall, Cheryl Johns, and everyone else I was not aware of for your kind comments and support. I'd like to take you through a short history of my involvement with the underwriting profession. It started in the early 1990s when I attended a Society of Actuaries meeting. The speaker mentioned he wanted to form a group to study preferred underwriting. I reached out to him after the meeting to say I was interested. He asked if I would like to be the chair. At that point in my career, I had not only not been a chair, but I had also not done any volunteer work like this. He said that I would do fine, and if I accepted, he would recruit the rest of the members for me. This is how I got started working on industry groups and working with underwriters. While I knew the least on the topic to start, I learned quickly and found that I was actually good at running meetings. After completing a couple of surveys and reports on preferred underwriting, I went before the SOA board and got approval to become a full-time committee, which we called the Committee on Life Insurance, Mortality, and Underwriting Surveys. This group lasted for 25 years and completed many surveys, which you can still find on the SOA website. I also got involved in speaking at meetings. My first presentation was to underwriters at my first presentation to underwriters was at one of the first international underwriting meetings that Hank George formed. I know that Hank would have been happy with my nomination here. Many of you read Hank's hot notes and remember he often interviewed different people in our industry. I was able to convince him in one of his later editions to let me interview him. I've also spoken to local underwriting associations, including Wisconsin, Chicago, and last year at MUD. I've also served on the International Underwriting Study Group for a number of years, including attending the meeting yesterday, and have taken part in other underwriting study groups. As part of the International Actuarial Association, I led a group of actuaries and underwriters to write a paper entitled Underwriting Around the World, which covered underwriting practices in 16 or more countries. In the International Underwriting Study Group, just discussed updating this paper yesterday. I've also helped insurtech companies get into our industry. I mention this because I asked one how he found out about me, and he said it was a paper I wrote, Underwriting Past, Present, and Future, that helped him better understand underwriting. What I am most proud of is the creation about 13 years ago of the meeting most recently called the Underwriting Innovation Symposium. I know many of you have attended it. It started with an idea I had to put together panels of experts on a topic so you could ask your questions once to everyone rather than running around the exhibit halls to meet with each vendor. I received approval to create and run this meeting. We weren't sure if this would be a one-time event or how often we might have it. The first meeting turned out to be a big success. Someone at lunch the second day told me that this was the best meeting they had ever attended. So we decided to make it an annual event, but completely changed the format to a more traditional meeting. While most sessions were held for everyone, which everybody liked so they didn't have to choose which sessions to attend, we did have breakout sessions where we had different versions of something like what I wish underwriters knew about what I do and what I wish actuaries knew about what I do. Some years we instead combined underwriters and actuaries into groups to work together to solve a case study. What I like most about the meeting is that it brought underwriters and actuaries together to learn and interact with each other, which makes our broader industry more successful. I have a fun story to tell you. Some of you may remember this. When Cheryl Johns was president, she had everyone stand up. Then she said, if this is your first meeting, sit down. If you have attended two AHOU meetings, sit down, and so on. At some point, while I was still standing, I looked around the room and realized that I had attended more AHOU meetings than more than half of the attendees. I also attended AHOU meetings prior to the merger. One of my favorite speakers from all of the industry meetings I've attended was at an underwriting meeting. It was the person from Catch Me If You Can. I've spent my time talking about me. Now I would like to conclude by talking about you. I want to encourage you to get involved in industry activities in whatever interests you. Attend meetings, learn, network, enter the mentorship program, either as a mentee or a mentor. Serve on a committee that covers a topic of interest to you on the AHOU, ALU, CIU, a local underwriting organization, or even a committee in another industry. This will help you learn more about your topic of interest and allow you to build a network of friends who can help you on that topic or more broadly in your career, whether to consult with, consult for, or even with career decisions. The most recent version of On the Risk has 2 articles that also discuss this topic on volunteering. I consider many of you my friends and have enjoyed many of our discussions, whether professionally or those that extend beyond the underwriting and actuarial professions. Thank you again for this honor, and even though I am approaching retirement, I hope to be able to stay in touch with many of you. And I will conclude by saying, happy 25th anniversary, AHOU. Thank you.